The soft evening light filtered through the windows of Meridian's, one of the city's most elegant restaurants, as 27-year-old Emma Walsh nervously smoothed her simple cream-colored dress and checked her reflection in the mirror by the entrance. She had borrowed the dress from her roommate and spent her last $20 on a cab to get here, all for what she had been told was a casual dinner with someone who might be perfect for you. Emma worked as a kindergarten teacher at an inner-city school, pouring her heart into helping children from challenging backgrounds discover their potential. Her salary barely covered her student loans and basic expenses, but she found deep fulfillment in her work and couldn't imagine doing anything else. What Emma didn't know was that this blind date had been orchestrated as a cruel joke by her college acquaintances Madison and Tiffany, two women who had never forgiven Emma for being chosen as valedictorian over them 6 years earlier. They had convinced Emma that a successful businessman friend wanted to meet her, when in reality they had told him he was being set up with a gold-digging teacher looking for a rich husband. The plan was to create an embarrassing situation where both Emma and the man would feel deceived and uncomfortable, providing Madison and Tiffany with entertainment at Emma's expense. 35-year-old Alexander. Thorne arrived at Meridian's carrying a small pink rose that his 5-year-old daughter Lily had insisted he bring for his dinner date. As CEO of Thorne Enterprises, a sustainable technology company worth over $80 million, Alexander was accustomed to business dinners and social obligations, but he rarely accepted blind date arrangements. He had only agreed to this one because Madison worked in his company's marketing department and had been persistent about introducing him to someone special who would appreciate his success. Alexander's marriage had ended 2 years earlier when his ex-wife decided she preferred the lifestyle of a tech mogul in Silicon Valley to the responsibilities of motherhood, leaving Alexander to raise Lily alone. "Daddy, remember to give her the flower," Lily had said that morning, carefully selecting the pink rose from their garden. "Pink roses mean thank you for being nice, and you should always thank people for being nice to you." Alexander spotted Emma at the hostess station and immediately noticed something different from what he had expected. Instead of the calculating, overly polished woman Madison had described, he saw someone with genuine warmth in her eyes and a nervous but authentic smile. "Emma?" he asked, approaching with the rose. "I'm Alexander. Thank you for agreeing to have dinner with me." Emma felt her breath catch as she looked at this impeccably dressed, undeniably handsome man offering her a flower with unexpected gentleness. "Thank you for the rose. It's beautiful." As they were seated at their table, both began to realize that something was amiss with the setup they had been given. Alexander had expected to meet someone primarily interested in his wealth, while Emma had been led to believe she was meeting someone looking for a casual, down-to-earth relationship. "I have to admit," Alexander said after they had ordered, "Madison's description of you was quite different from the person I'm meeting." Emma felt her stomach drop. "What did she tell you about me?" "She suggested you were someone who was primarily interested in financial security and lifestyle advancement," Alexander replied carefully. "But you seem like someone who has her own sense of purpose and values." Emma's cheeks flushed with embarrassment and anger as she realized what had happened. "She told me you were looking for someone genuine and down-to-earth, not someone impressed by success or money." Alexander studied Emma's face and saw the hurt and humiliation there. "I think we've both been set up for someone else's entertainment." "I'm so sorry," Emma said, starting to gather her purse. "I should go. This is clearly some kind of misunderstanding or joke." "Please don't leave," Alexander said gently. "I'd like to get to know the real Emma, not the person Madison described." Over the next 2 hours, Emma and Alexander discovered a connection that neither had expected. Emma talked about her work with children, her passion for education, and her dreams of starting programs to help underprivileged students. Alexander shared stories about Lily, his commitment to sustainable technology, and his struggles with balancing single parenthood and running a company. "You know," Alexander said as their dessert arrived, "Lily would love to meet you. She's been asking when she can meet someone who works with children." "I'd love to meet her too," Emma replied. "She sounds like an amazing little girl." "She is. She's taught me more about what matters in life than any business school ever could." As they talked, Emma found herself forgetting about the cruel setup and focusing on the genuine connection she felt with this man who spoke about his daughter with such love and who asked thoughtful questions about her work and dreams. What neither of them noticed was that Madison and Tiffany had arrived at the restaurant with several friends, expecting to witness and record Emma's humiliation when the truth about the setup was revealed. They had positioned themselves at a nearby table, phones ready to capture what they assumed would be an awkward and embarrassing scene. Instead, they watched in growing frustration as Emma and Alexander seemed to be genuinely enjoying each other's company. "This isn't going according to plan," Madison whispered to Tiffany. "They actually seem to like each other." "Just wait," Tiffany replied. "Once he realizes she's just a poor teacher, he'll lose interest." But as the evening progressed, Alexander found himself more impressed with Emma's character and intelligence than he had been with anyone in years. Her dedication to her students, her thoughtful perspective on social issues, and her genuine warmth reminded him of everything he valued most in people. "Emma," Alexander said, as they prepared to leave, "I know this evening began with deception from others, but I'd like to see you again. Would you have dinner with me and Lily sometime?" Emma felt tears of happiness spring to her eyes. "I would love that." As they stood to leave, Madison and Tiffany approached their table with malicious smiles. "Well, well," Madison said loudly enough for other diners to hear. "How was your blind date? Did you enjoy meeting our little gold digger, Alexander?" Emma felt her face burn with shame, but Alexander's expression grew cold and dangerous. "I'm sorry. What did you just say?" Alexander asked, his voice carrying the authority of someone accustomed to commanding boardrooms. "Oh, come on." Tiffany laughed cruelly. "You didn't really think someone like Emma would be interested in you for your personality, did you? She's a broke teacher looking for a meal ticket." The restaurant had grown quiet, with nearby diners turning to watch this confrontation unfold. Alexander looked at Emma, who was standing frozen with humiliation, then at Madison and Tiffany, then at the crowd of onlookers who seemed to be waiting for entertainment. Then he did something that shocked everyone in the restaurant. Alexander dropped to one knee, pulled out a small velvet box that he always carried with him, containing his grandmother's ring that he had been saving for someone truly special, and looked up at Emma with complete sincerity. "Emma Walsh," he said in a voice that carried across the silent restaurant, "I have never met anyone with your kindness, intelligence, and genuine goodness. You care more about helping children succeed than about impressing anyone with your status or wealth. You make me want to be a better man and a better father." Emma stared at him in complete shock, as did everyone else in the restaurant. "I know we've only known each other for 3 hours," Alexander continued, "but I've learned more about what I want in a partner tonight than in years of dating. Will you marry me?" The restaurant erupted in gasps and murmurs of amazement. Madison and Tiffany stood frozen, their cruel joke having backfired spectacularly. Emma looked down at this incredible man kneeling before her, offering her not just a proposal, but a declaration that he saw her true worth despite the humiliation others had tried to inflict. "Yes," she whispered. Then louder, "Yes, I will marry you." The restaurant exploded in applause as Alexander slipped the ring onto Emma's finger and stood to embrace her. Other diners were wiping away tears at the unexpected romance they had witnessed. Madison and Tiffany slunk away from the restaurant in defeat, their attempt at humiliation having instead created one of the most romantic proposals the city had ever seen. 6 months later, Emma and Alexander were married in a beautiful ceremony attended by Lily, who served as the flower girl and had become Emma's devoted daughter in every way that mattered. Emma's students served as the wedding party, delighted to see their beloved teacher find happiness with a man who appreciated her dedication to them. The story of their proposal became legendary in their city, but more importantly, it became the foundation for a marriage built on the understanding that true love sees past surface judgments to recognize the character beneath. Alexander's company established an education foundation that funded programs in underserved schools, with Emma directing initiatives that combined her classroom experience with the resources to make real change in children's lives. Lily thrived with Emma as her stepmother, finding in her not just love and care, but someone who understood that children's potential should never be limited by their circumstances. Madison and Tiffany's attempt to humiliate Emma had instead led to a love story that proved kindness and character will always triumph over cruelty and superficiality. The pink rose that Lily had insisted her father bring to dinner was pressed and framed in their home, a reminder that sometimes the most beautiful love stories begin with a child's wisdom about the importance of thanking people for being nice. Their marriage became a testament to the truth that when we see past others' attempts to diminish us and recognize our own worth, we create space for people who will value us for exactly who we are. If this story reminded you that cruel intentions often reveal the character of the perpetrators more than their targets, and that genuine connections can overcome any attempt at humiliation, please give it a like and share it with someone who might need encouragement about their own worth. Subscribe for more stories about how love finds us when we stay true to ourselves despite others' attempts to diminish us. And please comment below about a time when someone tried to embarrass you but it led to something positive, or when you witnessed genuine character triumph over pettiness. Your story might inspire someone else to see past others' cruelty to recognize their own value.